Iraq signs deal with Nasdaq July 21, 2019. Nasdaq and the Arak Stock Exchange, AS, have signed a new agreement to expand technology cooperation for the next 5 years, starting in October 2019, and continue to license and support the maintenance of systems and upgrade trading technology and deposit of securities for the next 5 years. The executive director of the securities market Taha Ahmed Abdul Salam told Vassal Economy News, the use of the Nasdaq technology is a positive signal to local and international regulators and investors, and that Iraq will strengthen its efforts to become an important financial center for trading securities. Michelle Carlson, managing director of Nasdaq Middle East, said, with the upcoming development and use of the latest Nasdaq technology, the ISX will join the Middle East stock exchange community in deploying high-quality multi-asset trading technology that meets international standards. We also look forward to supporting the Arak Stock Exchange X as it continues to develop and innovate. Nasdaq provides transparency and insight to navigate the current global capital markets. As the creator of the world's first stock market, Nasdaq is home to nearly 4,000 total listings with a market value of about $15 trillion. It is noteworthy that the functions of the Iraqi market for securities perform the task of organizing, controlling and launching continuous trading on the shares of listed companies, in addition to the control of the shareholders of the company. Russia is ready to consider returning to the G8. August 21, 2019, 21:54. Russia announced Wednesday its readiness to consider a possible return to the Group of Eight, which includes the best industrialized countries, which were expelled in 2014 because of the Ukrainian crisis. U.S. President Donald Trump said Tuesday he could certainly support Russia's return, contrary to the positions of his G7 allies he will meet late this week in Biarritz in southwestern France. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov told a news conference in Moscow, "If a decision is taken at this summit concerning Russia, we will of course be prepared to study it and respond to it." Russia was expelled from the G8, which also included the United States, Germany, Canada, France, Italy, Japan and the United Kingdom. After it annexed Crimea to its territory in March 2014, Moscow announced last year that it had no intention at all to return to the G8, after a first invitation in this regard by Trump, explaining that she is comfortable working within the G20. Lavrov hailed the G20 as a mechanism for reaching consensus as opposed to G7 warnings to Russia. In addition to the Ukrainian dossier, differences between Western countries and Russia also include the Syrian and Iranian dossiers, accusations of Russia interfering in several electoral processes, and the issue of poisoning former Russian spy Sergei Skripal accused of Russia in England in March 2018. Chinese yuan falls against US dollar to 11-year low. August 22, 2019, China's yuan fell against the dollar to an 11-year low on Thursday on concerns about an economic slowdown, prompting Chinese state-owned banks to support the currency in the futures market. The yuan weakened to 7.0752 against the dollar, its lowest since March 2008, but later recovered to 7.0732 yuan to the dollar. The yuan's decline coincided with Hong Kong stocks falling on concerns about the city's protests, pushing the New Zealand and Australian dollars lower and supporting the Japanese yen. The rest of the currencies were confined to a narrow range ahead of a speech by the U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell in Jackson Hole on Friday, which will be closely examined after a coup in the U.S. Treasury yield curve, an indication of a possible economic recession in the United States. Expectations of further interest rate cuts are high, and U.S. President Donald Trump's public calls for strong monetary easing in the U.S. central bank have caused a stalemate. Source in Kurdistan, the federal government sent the amounts allocated to the salaries of employees. August 22, 2019. A source in the Ministry of Finance and Economy of the Kurdistan Regional Government, Thursday, August 22, 2019, that the federal government sent the amounts allocated for the salaries of employees. The source said, in an interview continued Obelisk, that the Federal Ministry of Finance today transferred the amount of 454 billion dinars and deposited accounts of the Central Bank of Iraq branch of Erbil. The source explained that the government of the region will resume after the arrival of salaries after the distribution stopped for a number of ministries and institutions as a result of lack of funds, because of the delay in Baghdad. The date of dispatch for more than 2 weeks for the second consecutive month.